I've known him actually for years now. We're finally getting to collaborate here, and we've got a lot to talk about today. So let's go ahead and get the show started.
Live and local talk from the mind behind the Overton Report. It's time for Palmetto Talk Live with your host, Corey Allen. Now, your host, Corey Allen.
Once again, that's me. And yeah, like I said, we have Solomon David in. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
It's good. So, I mean, first things first, right? First things first. Let's talk about, who you are, what you do, where you're from, and all that stuff.
Yeah. I'm a really unique person, but as you can see, I'm also a black man living in this country. That's how the left loves to start their conversation. Yeah, you couldn't tell. But you know how they always like to start their conversations like that.
I'm a black man in America.
And so I think I have a unique perspective because I'm also one of the very, very small minority. There's nobody else like me. There's no other black conservatives out there. But I have been conservative basically, I'd say all of my political life. 9/11 was one of the most major events in my life that actually pushed me towards being libertarian.
How old were you then?
Oh, I must have been like 13.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
we were the same age.
Yeah. So, but actually, when I saw 9/11, I was just like, it was definitely a life-altering moment for many people, much more than myself. Obviously, people went to war, people lost loved ones, but situations like that really make you very aware of the fact that politics does have a part to play in your life. And so from that point forward, I was never really a Bush Republican. That wasn't a popular thing to do back then anyway, but I wasn't a Democrat either. I tended to go more in a libertarian direction because I was like, what is the proper path for an American citizen, especially a black person like myself who wants to find liberation and freedom in this country? And I knew the history of the Democrat Party in the United States.
Yeah.
Which
they've taken great pains to rewrite, if not erase and then rewrite.
Dude, I see it literally today. I saw this meme where somebody had a picture, one of the depictions of Abraham Lincoln actually being shot.
Oh, that's
by John Wilkes Booth, and they said this is a liberal pointing to Abraham Lincoln, and then this is a conservative pointing to John Wilkes Booth, which is hilarious because I made a whole video about it, basically distinguishing the difference between party and your leniency, and essentially saying, you're leaving out the fact that Abraham Lincoln was the first Republican president. Uh-huh. The Republican Party was founded on the principles of freeing slaves and individualism and the right of the individual, no matter who that individual may be, to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. Right. It's the pursuit of it. It's not the promise of it. That's the promise that America gives is the pursuit of happiness, but not the promise of happy. Like, I can't guarantee you that you're going to be wealthy, successful, and happy in this country, but I can guarantee you in this country you can pursue those things unmolested. And I think that has been extremely misconstrued by the political left in this country, by the far both sides of the aisle, far right and far left, and I'm like what one would consider to be an extreme centrist, and so I decided to. So yeah, I know I like that term, the extreme centrist, because I think that's.
Well, I'm going to break that down with you. I want to ask. Well, first I want to ask you though, and I don't mean to interrupt, but I do want to ask you. So, conservative, you said libertarian. Let's talk about conservative. What do you see, or what does being a conservative mean to you, right?
Right. And so this goes back to the meme that I was talking about with Abraham Lincoln. These things are not necessarily dirty words. It just depends upon the time period in which we live in, correct? So you could say that this country was founded with a liberalism bent, right? We are fighting. We are fighting against the royal establishment, knights, kings, queens, royalty, titles being passed down. That is an anti-liberal stance in its essence, right? But now the definition of liberalism has changed because we understand that
when you push the window a little bit too far, now we want to conserve what we have in the Western world, right? The principles that made this country great, the principles that allow us to speak our minds, we want to conserve those things. And calling oneself a progressive when really you're instituting regressive policies like discrimination, segregation.
Yes,
people need to have separate graduations now because,
and dorms and safe spaces.
Right.
And when that happens in academia, I think a lot of people, when that happens in academia, it's one step away from now the teachers who are teaching your children. So it's one generation away at that point. But yeah, sorry.
Well, no, and you're 100%. Please stop me because I can go on and on. But the what I want to conserve, and people talk about this all the time. I see this. It's just so funny because I'm one of those people who loves to look at what the other side is saying so I can have an educated response. I don't want to just be in an echo chamber, but one of the things I see all the time from the opposite side of the aisle, what I would consider, is this idea of the separation of church and state. I think Charlie Kirk,
non-existent thing.
Right. I think Charlie Kirk pointed it out very eloquently in one of his talks about how the foundation of America was definitely, these people were very, very spiritual and religious, but the separation of church and state is essentially because we do not want to have a theocracy. We don't want to have a country that's laws are only and essentially created based upon religious doctrine, which is the irony.
Also, I think that the context of that is extremely important because they were talking about King George III was not only the king, he was the regent, pope of their church.
Yeah, exactly,
right? He was the leader of their church. And so when they say it's not written separation of church and state. It only says that the state shall not establish a religion. And in that was because we had Puritans, we had just various kinds.
You had people fleeing persecution.
Well, that's right.
Persecution.
Catholics, we wanted to allow all of those people to come. I mean, many of the state constitutions, and we were like, we'll leave that up to the states at that point. The federal government will not do that.
Right.
You had to have a declaration of faith, a declaration of Christian faith, I believe, in 12 of the 13, and a declaration of faith in all 13.
In a benevolent God.
In one of them, yeah. So, some of them required you to make a declaration of Protestantism.
Yes.
But we always allowed. I mean, Charleston has, I think, the second oldest synagogue in the entire nation. So it's not. So this concept of the separation of church and state has been perverted by progressives. Again, I think. That being said, I'm not like I'm not a theocrat. It's not about that. But to try and. What do you think about the concept that we can completely remove the United States Constitution and our Western way of life in the United States of America from religious values?
Well, I think that it's another one of those political ruses and tricks. Like we had this discussion a little bit earlier about how the left, they are masters at changing language, right? They are masters at doing it. Like you can say, "Oh, I don't like religion," but then you create a doctrine wherein I cannot misgender you. Otherwise, I will be taken to jail. That was actually becoming law. And where is that like an established thing? Where is it an established? Where is it anti-religious to say, I want to have prayer in school? You see the reaction to these people saying, oh, you want to have prayer in school? Well, then we're going to bring,
Satanism.
Whatever. They say that they want to bring in the Quran. And now in Mandami's New York, they're like, well, the kids are going to learn Quran and they're going to learn the numbers in Arabic. And I'm like, listen, I'm all for everybody learning about different languages, different religions. However, it's complete and utter hypocrisy, and it really relies upon people's preconceived notions about what religion is. And I know people have church hurt. Church hurt is a huge part of it, and I totally get it. I have church hurt, dude. I totally but I don't. Church hurt and having faith in Jesus or a benevolent creator are two different things. And I think that's where people get things mixed up. There's a difference between having an established, like you said, federal religion, which is like, oh, Iran, it's
right. That's different.
Versus having some kind of guided doctrine, something that leads your heart in the way in which you legislate your country. Those are two totally different things.
Well, here's my thing on this. So, even, and this is the problem with moral relativism, actually, writ large. But the problem that I have with it, and this is why I believe it's so absolutely absurd, is the concepts of not killing people. Okay, the concepts of basically all the Western values and Western ideals that we hold are only there, and they've only taken hold in our society because of Christianity.
Right.
So this concept, the way that liberalism, classical liberalism, of men are free, all men are equal, God created us, we're made in his image. Right. Those are inherently Christian ideals and morals. Right. And even the atheist, the agnostic Westerner, have grown up under these ideals, and they take them as absolute truth. They take them as that's the standard across the world, but it's not. Right. The thing is that it's not. Right. In other societies, other cultures that the West has never touched, you mess up, your entire family is killed. Okay? But I mean, like, seriously, it is a Western concept that the father, that the son does not pay for the sins of the father. Right. That is a Christian concept that was enumerated in our laws, and the only reason it was enumerated in our laws is because of Christianity. Right. And therefore, to say that we are not a Christian-based nation is absurd on its face. Right. And then to say that, no, these are just moral truths. Right. Well, why? Right. And then at the end of the day, if you don't have the Bible or the concept of Christian Western moral values to fall back on, it's just, it's my preference. Right. Okay, then that means that if somebody else has a different preference and they have a bigger gun, then now it's okay to throw gays off buildings.
Yeah.
I mean, there aren't Christians doing that.
Might makes right, and this is so funny because I think we're gonna talk about Nolan Wells in a second. But I saw a video, and we can stay on this topic of religion for a little while but I saw this video where somebody was talking about how Officer Tatum had gone and talked to one of the boys who was with Nolan Wells, one of his friends, who was with Nolan Wells before he died. And in the video, the guy, it's a black guy, and he was like, so you're going to go and talk to one of the friends? Why don't we just slide on him? Why don't we just
beat the shit out of him?
No. He was basically saying, kill the guy.
Kill him. Oh.
Kill him because we have a suspicion that he had something to do with the death of this person. And in this country, we have innocent until proven guilty. And the idea...
Which is, again,
the
Judeo-Christian value.
The idea...
Facing your accuser.
Right. The idea of forgiveness is antithetical to this idea of honor killings, blood libel, your family did something to my family 200 years ago, and therefore you must pay the penalty and the price. In Christian, Judeo-Christian values, in Christianity in general, in the teachings of Jesus, you come before the Creator and you absolve yourself of your sins when you repent and when you ask for forgiveness, and you can be born again. And that is what forgiveness is about. And so therefore, we don't have any laws in this country that say, well, if you come and say you stole from the store and just admit it, you'll be forgiven. No, that's not how our laws work.
No, you have consequences.
Exactly.
But your family doesn't.
And our structure of our society does not operate, it operates based upon the values of forgiveness, right? Because look at our penal system, right? Our prison system, you can talk to anybody all around the world and they'll say, man, I would love to do time in an American prison. It's like a vacation, right? Now, I'm not saying I want to go to prison. I wouldn't do very well in there. I'm too delicate. But You talk to somebody who spent time in a Soviet prison in some kind of hard labor in Vietnam or China or whatever, and they think this is a cakewalk. Why? Because we have the opportunity for people to be released at some time. We have the opportunity for people to come up for parole before their sentencing is done. We live in a very forgiving country.
Well, that's true. But I will say that we have, and again, once again, the left has perverted that standard to let violent criminals out and refuse to put them in prison to the detriment of the victim. But if you go to, this is something that happens socially still in China, but did happen legally in China, North Korea, Indonesia, Russia. This happened when you committed a crime, because it's antithetical to Western values. When you committed a crime, 3 generations, bro. Oh yeah, 3 generations were killed,
dude.
So, or sent to prison for whatever. So I do want to go back to the Nolan Wells thing. Yes. We weren't planning on talking about that at all, but I think that it's very important to get a standard. Just me asking you, like, what's your stance on conservatism led to this?
Yeah.
That's why that's why I always enjoy our conversations, to be honest with you. That's why I got to have you. You just live so far away.
Yeah.
But the Nolan Wells situation, for those who don't know, Nolan Wells, black kid with a bunch of white friends, and of course that is a major crime in the societal world of the left.
Right.
Tragically died.
Right.
We don't know how. We don't know why. The very first thing that happened, and I'll tell you, I saw this as a blip in some of the like the black culture social media pages and things that popped up for me a week or so, maybe longer than that, when it first happened. Right. And I was like, okay, that's silly. That's not going to go anywhere. Then Ben Crump gets involved. And the race baiters go crazy, and they're like, oh, well, if he's a black guy, a black kid with a bunch of white friends, obviously they murdered him as some kind of Klan ritual.
Man.
And that's not hyperbole. That's not, I'm not making that up. People are saying that. There's no evidence of foul play. There's nobody knows anything. He had his cause of manner of death is still undetermined. He was found in the water after a night of drinking and partying with friends that he had drank and partied with a lot for a long time.
Right.
And all of the white kids are now being called murderers, and like you said, that they're talking about lynching these people extrajudicially, and it's just I don't know what to make of this. So that is the Nolan Wells situation. And you have done some videos on this. So tell us a little bit about it.
You know what's funny? Nolan Wells, he went out on July 4th in Mississippi to a place that young people frequent. They were out on boats, in the water, underage drinking. I mean, it's just like, that's already a recipe for disaster. It could just be a misadventure. It does not have to be a homicide. But I think what has happened, I'm not going to claim to be an expert, but I'm black. People, as much as people want to, in my comment section, say I hate being black and I hate myself, that is nothing could be further from the truth. I love being black.
It's crazy.
I love being around black people when we're chilling. And so I understand the psychology of black people to a certain extent. And I feel like this is there were several circumstances over the last few years when justice was delayed and therefore justice was denied. And the Democrats are essentially the cause of this. And I think Biden being elected was one of those justice delayed situations, right? And I don't want to get too detracted, but
I do want you to tell me what you mean.
Yeah, I will, but I don't want to get too off on a jag. Sure. But this Nolan Wells thing, the reason why so many people are jumping to the idea and the conclusion that this is homicide. This is a case of a racial lynching, which to me is absolutely absurd. If anything, if it is a homicide, hey, prove me wrong. If it's a homicide, it probably has zero to do with race. It probably has everything to do with a personal, emotional
beef or something like that.
Something that happened, a crime of passion.
Up with my girlfriend.
Right. But it's not going to be a racial situation. But when we first heard about this and I saw a bunch of women on the internet, black women on the internet saying, don't have your kids around white people. Yeah.
My God.
It's like, imagine if a white person said that. Oh my God, the heavens would fall. Just CNN would be on the phone.
But also, it's like that. Those black women are saying exactly what legitimate, real, racist white people. They're like, you're right. You're absolutely. Yeah. We completely agree.
This is what I mean. They are not progressives. They are regressives. They think that going forward and making the country better means going back to a time of segregation and going back to a time of bitterness, racial animosity, and hatred. And they think this is the delusional part about it. This is the thing that cracks me up and so delusional. And it's been the line of, the left and many white leftists since Obama is that white people are mad that Obama became elected. They are mad that a black man had power. And that is demonstrably false.
Elected twice by white people.
By the same people who voted for Trump.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with buyer's remorse. It does not have anything to do with race. It has everything to do with economics.
And the racial division that happened. I mean, you can look at the stats. I mean, Barack Obama sitting in there when in office and making very racially divisive statements about when a black guy was I can't remember which incident
Trayvon Martin.
was. Was it Trayvon Martin?
Yeah, he's like, that could have been my son.
Yes, he was killed by. Right, he was killed by a Mexican guy.
Yeah,
and then
no, your son would have had 3 Secret Service people around him.
Well, that's
that
true.
Would have never happened.
Yeah, so this concept of and those types of things really push this, and also, it's really strange to me this Nolan Wells thing, because there's what they want us to think, what the race baiters want us to think on this is that this large group of white kids, 16, 7, since they were 14 and 15 years old,
right,
13, 12, some of them 9 years old, they've known him for their whole lives,
right,
had this plot to befriend this black kid,
right,
hang out with him for years, and then suddenly on this one day they were like, all right guys, tonight we gonna get him.
Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
not for me, for the Klan.
It is just beyond belief. And these are people. The problem is, it's like, okay, yeah,
these people are allowed to vote.
Look, well, that's definitely a big problem. But the real issue here is that on real white supremacists are relegated to the dregs of society.
Oh yeah,
they are made fun of, they are hated, universally despised, to the point where, like, true ones, real ones, right? Yeah. And while at the same time the left was saying, hey, if you're, saying it's okay to be white is now white supremacy, while the Smithsonian says, oh, by the way, the concept of objectivity is white supremacy. The concept of being on time is white supremacy. All of that's true. The Smithsonian put that out. You remember we talked about that a long.
Yeah.
So while that was happening, you had black leftists, the black community, the black academic class, right? The black elite class.
We call them the Black Boule.
The Black Boule. Okay.
Yeah.
So they are pushing a everything that white supremacy was told, like everything that we were told white supremacy was.
Right.
They're pushing that. Can't hang out with white boys. They're planning to kill you no matter, for years. These 12-year-old white boys are like, white is evil.
Right.
And they're given platforms. That's the difference.
Well, and see, listen. Like I said, I am a radical centrist. So I do not like to deny the fact that there's a certain history in this country. Let's be fair. Let's give the left the benefit of the doubt, because I understand I'm black. I have black parents.
You lost me at give them a benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. Well, no, let's just play their game.
I got you. Yeah.
I honestly feel like this is what made people like Charlie Kirk so great. Yeah. Because if you can't give them the floor, let them have their arguments, and then destroy their arguments, then what good of our arguments? Sure. And I'll say, listen, that is valid in terms of the fact that maybe 50 years ago, 70 years ago, 80 years ago, 90 years ago, certain circumstances were the case, and black families and parents did what they needed to do or what they thought they needed to do to protect their children because there was a certain level of division. There were certain rules and restrictions in place. There were certain things that were allowed. But when I get on my phone, when I get on the internet, when I get on Beyonce's internet and I see people talking about sundown towns in 2026, right. And you have one of these,
still believe it.
You'll pull that phone out at Walmart because the lady behind you is giving you a look, but you're in a sundown town and all of a sudden I have no means of communication. I have no way to help myself. This learned helplessness that the political left, which is basically run by, basically the same women who owned slaves 200 years ago, it's
thought they were awesome for teaching them to read.
Right. Oh yeah.
We treat ours different.
I let y'all read. Yeah. Now all of a sudden you're infantilizing black people and coddling them when they already have trauma. And like we talked about earlier, people who have trauma don't understand how to be self-sufficient. Pity is a drug for them.
Yeah.
Self-pity is a drug for them. And the black community has been drugged to sleep. I forgot who, I think it was Karl Marx who said, religion is the opiate of the people. Right. And so the self-pity that has been given to black people, that while simultaneously telling black people, oh, everybody's afraid of you, and then being shocked when everybody's afraid of you because you're telling, it's like black people, ever since the movie Get Out and other subsequent movies, this black horror genre has come out, the black community has been made to be extremely schizophrenic because at one point in time in this nation, we had an identity. We understood who we were. It was partially given to us by a narrative that we know now is false, but it was somewhat acceptable, helpful, whatever. It didn't cause a lot of discord in our country. This new narrative that has been given to us because we know that there's been a concerted effort for propaganda has been so detrimental, and we can see it. I'm sorry, I don't like.
No, I feel. Well, see, I think that and it goes back to I think white liberal women. Mm-hmm. They have a very big issue with accountability,
Oh.
and they have taught that because they were the teachers. And so yes, when you have a 98% black school where they're passing kids from 4th to 5th grade even though they cannot read on a kindergarten level, like those types of things, I mean, what do you expect to happen? Like the paper is no good without what the paper used to mean. Okay, this means they can read, they can do arithmetic, they can do this.
Right.
And then when the incentivization that has happened by the liberals and by the left in bureaucracy and in government, that has played a big role. And I also believe that, yes, that the left initially throughout the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s was pushed very hard into the black communities of the soft bigotry of low expectations, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like that was a pilot program, and now it's everybody.
Oh, dude,
it's
we're
not
on
a racial thing.
We are 100% on the same page. Yeah, that has been my theory, which is it's like not even hard to connect the dots on that theory. For years, they test everything on black people first. If they look at how many white people are on welfare and food stamps now. It's like, obviously there's a larger white population, so there's more white people on food stamps than black people, but the pilot program of welfare was given to black people first. Lyndon Baines Johnson.
Incentivizing a destruction of the nuclear family and home life.
Right, and now everybody has a destructive. There's barely any people with a nuclear family. With I forgot the term.
And feminizing the culture has led to destruction and will. Guys, we'll be back in 2 minutes after these messages from our sponsors. We're going to talk about that chick in what's her name, Shiloh, Shiloh Hendricks, a trial in Minnesota. Because she used the hard R against a kid that was like stealing stuff out of her bag, and there just happened to be a Somali, a legal immigrant Somali, filming her as she was doing that, which, completely by happenstance, even though that's like the fourth video he'd made like that. Interesting stuff. But yeah, we'll be back in about 2 minutes, guys.
Adam Curran here with Curran Financial Partners. We are proud to sponsor Corey Allen and Palmetto Talk Live. I'm a God-fearing, flag-waving, conservative financial advisor, and my firm does it all, y'all. We can help you with your investments, we can do your taxes for you, and we can put together your estate planning documents for you. Reach out to my office by visiting our website. Go to retirey'all.com. Again, retirey'all.com, and get my book in the mail. We literally wrote the first and only book ever penned specifically about retiring in the great state of South Carolina. Retire Y'all, your guide to retiring in the state of South Carolina. Go to retirey'all.com to get a free copy of my book and come kick my company's tires. It might have a profound impact on you and your family's finances.
If you're planning a date night, don't settle for ordinary. Take it to another level at the Melting Pot. This is where dinner becomes interactive, where you dip into rich cheese fondues, cook your own steak and seafood right at the table, and finish with warm chocolate fondue and sweet dippers. Their signature 4-course experience takes you from savory to sweet in one unforgettable night. Perfect for couples, celebrations, or just reconnecting with old friends. The Melting Pot. Set the mood. Slow things down. Enjoy the moment. Find the Melting Pot at 1410 Colonial Life Boulevard West in Columbia and make your next night out one worth remembering. The Cigar Militia is the place to be. Owned by South Carolina State Representative Jay Kilmartin, this isn't just a business, it's a passion. And you can feel that the second you walk through the door. Top-tier cigars, a welcoming atmosphere, even private lockers so your collection stays exactly how you like it. They even host regular gatherings that bring people together beyond just cigars. If you're looking for a place that values quality, conversation, and community, this is it. Look no further. The Cigar Militia in Columbia, SC. Light up something better.
Looking for a realtor who gets it done and actually answers her phone? Meet Christy Gore with Realty One Group Coastal. Christy is a Tri-County top producer. She works hard, keeps you informed, and knows the Charleston Tri-County markets inside and out. From Dorchester to Berkeley and everywhere in between, she's helping you buy and sell residential homes with confidence. When other agents let calls go to voicemail, Christy's picking up and already finding your next home. So don't wait. Call 843-998-8250 or go online to christiescoastalhomes.com, where local experience meets real results.
Live and local talk from the mind behind the Overton Report. It's time for Palmetto Talk Live with your host, Corey Allen. Now, your host, Corey Allen.
All right, guys, that's me, and we are here again with Solomon David from Black Rant For Liberty. I highly encourage you to check out your channel, dude. It's hilarious. I mean,
I do my best.
The humor, I love it. I don't know, man. I've always enjoyed it. I know you took not a break, but you didn't do it as much, and you kind of recently, I guess, over the past. How long have you been like really going and hammering it again?
Pretty much since, unfortunately, sadly, tragically, since Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I was like, man, I have to. I can't be afraid to speak out, you know. And honestly, I had been. Like I said, I have a business where I've been doing social media marketing and online marketing for people for, several years now.
Okay.
Many clients. I did it for, crypto companies and such. And so I wanted to take those skills and actually contribute and do my own thing. And I've got other pages that earn revenue as well as this one. It's a little bit harder to earn revenue with a political page.
Yes.
When people are constantly trying to ban you, but that's why you have other pages. But yes, I mean, this whole online internet economy is very much so there. It's very much so booming. I think everybody who has an interest should get involved in it. And if you have any questions,
send them over to Black Rant For Liberty. So before we talk about this next thing, the Shiloh Hendricks trial that's going on right now, I wanted to remind you guys about the realestateschoolofsc.com. Realestateschoolofsc.com. The oldest real estate school in the state, most trusted real estate school in the state, obviously, because they've been in business for 50 years. They have 2 in-person locations. You can go in Lexington County and right here in Mount Pleasant in Charleston County. Actually, it might be in Berkeley, but right here in the Low Country. You can do in-person classes. You can do online, go at your own pace classes, but also, and this is what I think is the coolest, you can do virtual classes from the comfort of your own home or at the office while they are holding their in-person classes. So you can still talk to the professor live, engage in the conversations that are happening. They're rewriting the entire book on real estate in South Carolina right now as we speak, actually. They're the ones that write the book, set the standards at realestateschoolofsc.com. Go there today. They were our first sponsor. They're right there with us. They know they believe in everything that we believe in. Well, no, I wouldn't say everything that we believe in, but they get it. They get it. They're one of us. If you go there today to sign up, you can become a real estate agent. If you are a real estate agent and want to become a broker, they offer those programs. If you want to be a property manager, which the thing about that is there's a huge need for property managers right now. They're building all over the state. We're the fastest growing state in the entire nation, South Carolina. So there's and people are building multifamily units. They're building condos, apartment complexes. Property managers are needed. You can get certified right here at realestateschoolofsc.com, and you can do your continuing education. Full service, whatever you need, realestateschoolofsc.com. All right, now we are back with Solomon David, Black Rant For Liberty, and I want to talk about this Shiloh Hendricks. So, yeah, like this was
that hard R.
The hard R, bro. It's a weird thing because I find myself, obviously, speech that you agree with isn't the speech that needs to be defended. That's how I feel about it. Right? But basically what happened, so actually let me just read this story because they'll probably clear it up. It says, trial starts for woman who called black child a racial slur in Rochester, Minnesota. Opening statements began Tuesday afternoon in the trial of a woman who used a racial slur against a black autistic child in Rochester. The incident, which was caught on video and went viral, led to Rochester City Attorney charging Shiloh Hendricks with 2 counts of disorderly conduct. She pled not guilty, faces 90 days in jail and a $1,000 fine. So this is an attempt, I believe, to use disorderly conduct for a word, right? She wasn't going through the kid's bag trying to steal stuff. She wasn't a person with a criminal record filming children on a playground, like the person who was filming was.
Right. That's right.
Right.
Wasn't the guy who actually filmed the incident of
and he went there.
That's
and
crazy.
Like there's a lot of stuff that they're leaving out in the news.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I'd really like to get your take on this. Well, here, first let me read my post about this because it set lefties on fire. They got very upset with me, and then they demanded I talk to you about it because, of course, they only see color.
We're talking about it.
We are. Well, here we are. Then I told him he was probably going to be a gatekeeping white liberal cuck afterwards because he wasn't going to like what you said. But I said, this is a stupid trial.
Right.
They were stealing from her. Also, Somalis don't care about that word. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Also, there's a thing called the First Amendment. Also, have you listened to any rap song over the last 30 years?
Right.
Also, stop clutching your pearls. I just let me open it up to you, man. What do you think about this case? Like, am I out of this world? Am I half right, half wrong? Am I somewhere in the middle? What's up?
Well, actually, I actually have a few questions because I remember this situation, but it's been a while. I thought it took place 2 years ago, but I guess it was only last year. I have so in situations like this, it seems as though when someone wants to press charges, who is actually pursuing these charges? Because I would believe that like the town or the city or the district that they're in,
that's correct,
has the complete authority to go, this is frivolous or nothing has transpired here. Like if you want to press charges, I guess be my guest, but I mean, she's on video. She didn't like go ballistic or go crazy. She said, kind of get out of here. She grabbed her kid, called somebody the N-word and went about her day. And the person who was filming, the people on the other side of the camera were seeming to yell at her
and
just
trying
as
to
much.
escalate.
Right. Just so a disorderly conduct. Okay.
And actually they escalated before she said it.
Right.
They escalated and got her really worked up while her baby's in her arms. Right. And she's trying to keep her stuff from being taken.
Right.
But it was actually, this is very important to note, it is the town that has filed. It's a disorderly conduct.
Right, they're the ones who are pursuing the charges.
They are the ones that are pursuing.
Right. So to me, it seems as though we have to start asking ourselves, who is the sheriff of this town? If they're a sheriff, place, if they have a sheriff's department, or who is the attorney, the district attorney, who are these people, and who are they affiliated with? What party do they affiliate with?
A Democrat. It's Minnesota.
I'm just asking questions.
Well, I'm telling you. I'm just answering them.
Because it seems like like you said, they're trying to set a precedent because you cannot arrest somebody for their speech.
And they had to, the thing is that you can if you, like you said earlier, the left rewrites language and the meanings behind words, and they do that with legalese.
Silence is violence.
Right.
If you don't say anything.
But they do that with legalese to great effect.
Right.
Because law is always there to be interpreted.
Right.
This word can be interpreted.
Right.
So, but here's the thing. Protected free speech or disorderly conduct. In his opening statement, prosecutor Nicholas Chabelle said Hendricks's actions, not just her use of a racial slur, is central to the case. Chabelle said Hendricks chased the boy, who was 8 years old at the time, and frightened him. Defense attorney Brian Carolus came right out and said his client's use of the N-word was a bad choice. But he said there's a line between something being morally wrong and something being illegal. Carolus said Hendricks's speech was offensive but protected by the First Amendment. Here's the next part. The boy has taken other people's things before. The boy's father testified with the help of a Somali interpreter on the witness stand. He said his son's autism makes it hard for him to understand that he shouldn't take things that are not his. Victim mentality. I don't know. I'm not. I've seen the video. It's been a while.
Right.
That autism is. Come on. That's a stretch to me.
Yeah.
But even then, that doesn't mean somebody can't say, like, if you're autistic and you're stealing my shit, you're still stealing my shit. And I'm going to be like, hey, stop stealing my shit. And then somebody comes up to me and starts, like, freaking out. Like, look, again, I'm not defending, like, the word that she said, but I am defending her right to have said it without being arrested.
Right.
It's a dangerous precedent, I believe.
Yes, well, I agree with you on that. And in the fact of if this goes through and she is actually convicted, because they're arguing that her actions, which were somehow crazy, which I'm like, I don't.
Him.
Right. I'm like, how do you prove?
Thieves are always very afraid when they're being chased because they took somebody's shit. Though.
Well, and then let's be fair. Let's be fair. Okay, you're saying the kid is autistic. How can you say an autistic kid isn't scared like 90% of the time? Like
Well, and also, how can you say that in any 8-year-old when an adult says, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Right,
they're gonna be scared.
Right. Should fear now and creating fear in another person, which is very difficult to prove because it's highly subjective, is that now a crime? So yes, this sets a very dangerous precedent. I am for a legal system that is fair and balanced and is in favor of human like natural human behavior, right? If we create a legal system that is trying to be
unable to be attained,
right? It's unattainable, and this is what I was going to bring up earlier about the left, right? It goes back to Teddy Roosevelt's speech of the man in the arena. Anybody who tries to thrive and strive and do something is probably always going to fall short. This country is always going to fall short of what it seeks to achieve, and that is where the armchair quarterback left can always pick up the ball and say,
we can throw out everything you ever did good because you did a bad.
Right, because this happened and this happened and this happened, and it's like,
but they're so hypocritical in that because it's like Mao. But he only. I literally saw this today. And it was an academic. It's not just some nobody.
Oh, dude.
They said, listen, Mao, he might have killed about 40 million people, but it was mostly on accident.
Right.
So you can't compare him to Hitler. It's like mostly on accident. Have you ever accidentally killed one person? How do you accidentally kill 40 million?
Well, you know what?
And also, it's closer to 90. Let's not be retarded.
I mean, it's people estimate it somewhere between 40 and 100 million people. But the funniest part about it is, it's like, did we ever say that communism always seeks to deliberately kill people? Yes, there are gulags, but what we are always talking about is the fact that communism kills people because it does not work, because people make tons of crazy mistakes. One of the things that led to a famine with Mao Zedong was there was a bird that was eating crops. You know this story?
Right. And he killed
he ordered everybody to kill these birds,
but they were eating the grubs,
right?
Or
the cricket. There was like crickets or something, and then the locusts wiped out all of the harvest. And so, taking this extremely unscientific approach, this is what I think is so funny. These Maoists, these communists, these Marxists praise communism, and then they talk about Trump, how Trump is a buffoon. Trump uses this brash language that's totally unscientific, and he's getting his followers to just follow him. I'm like, dude, that is literally Mao Zedong. Mao Zedong ordered a generation of people to go around beating people to death based upon nothing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's the concept of the free market is an entirely Western principle.
Right.
Same thing, which in turn led to the concept of the free market of ideas and the scientific process. All of these are inherently Western.
Right.
Inherently Western things, and they like the idea that you put a bureau in charge of all these things. You're not going to have an idea that rests on its own laurels come into the thing, because, well, that's not the son of the minister who's making that argument.
Right.
And that is just inherent.
Right.
It is inherent in human nature, because and people talk about this actually in our so-called capitalist society,
right,
where politics is relationships. They talk about that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And that is true.
Right.
But relationships also cause a blind spot, and so you have to have the ability for outside voices to come in.
Right.
And when you create this circling of the wagons, which socialism does, again, around the experts, they create AIDS like Fauci. They create COVID like Fauci. Yeah. They create safe spaces like, well,
you're talking about an insulated clerical class, right? And this is what we see this time and time again in royal families throughout history, where they become so insulated that they become inbred, which is why we call it the Habsburg jaw, right? The people who think that they want to hold on to power so severely that they end up in incestuous relationships, which is what this is the reason why I voted for Donald Trump. You have George H.W. Bush.
To tear it down.
Right. You have George H.W. Bush, followed by Bill Clinton, followed by George W. Bush, followed by Barack Obama. These people were not different. They were cut from the same cloth. George H.W. Bush. I love how
Well, and then Hillary Clinton.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
they wanted
on
to.
and on and on.
That's what I'm saying. They wanted to continue this dynasty, and people couldn't see it. But they think Trump, because on the surface level, with all the gold and the lavishness, people think that's some with no kings. But it's like, dude, you're literally. I voted against the dynasty of the Bushes, the Clintons, and the Obamas. That's what I voted against.
And they were all friends.
Right. Well, this is what
they were all a part of the same princehood.
Well, this is what I was getting to. George H.W. Bush, I find it hilarious whenever the mainstream media says, well, Vladimir Putin was KGB, right? He was the KGB director.
George H.W. Bush ran the CIA.
Right, I'm like, what are we talking about? That is the exact same thing, mirror image as George H.W. Bush being the director of the CIA.
And vice president.
Right, but George H.W. Bush had a special relationship with a man called Lolo Soetoro, an Indonesian oil tycoon who ended up giving his last name to a man named Barry Soetoro.
Ah.
You know who Barry Soetoro is, right?
That is Barack.
That's Barack Obama. So basically, George H.W. Bush is something of a figurative grandfather in the intelligence community to Barack Obama, but we're going to sit here and pretend like
this isn't dynastic.
Right, like when Bush was leaving office, Obama was saying he doesn't like George Bush because, he doesn't care about black people and Katrina. You are cut from the same cloth.
That was Kanye West said.
Right, no, yeah.
Sal.
No, I know. You remember the time when Obama said called Kanye a jackass? You remember that?
No.
Oh, you never saw that clip? It's hilarious because I love seeing that clip because I'm like, you understand that Kanye got the last laugh, right? He literally got the last laugh when he sat in the Oval Office with Trump.
Yeah.
And Kanye's just as petty as any of these other powerful guys who are geniuses. He's just very eccentric. But I bring this up to say, we're talking about this insulated class that tries to shield themselves from criticism, from any form of debate. That's what everybody saw in 2015 and 2016. That is what the working class saw. And I find it ironic that here we sit 10 years later. Communism is now resurgent. It is the Democrats' fault.
The DSA.
It's literally the Democrats' fault for the rise of the socialists. They call themselves democratic socialists. They are communists.
Democrat socialists are basically Democrat socialism is, yes, we will come to power by vote. Then we will be socialists.
Right, then we'll
You can vote us in. You will never be able to vote us out. That we want to rewrite the Constitution.
Right.
And this is interesting. This is a very important point because and I know we want to talk about Charlie Kirk, but this is a very dangerous, I believe, and I'm not trying to be an alarmist.
No.
But I do believe that we are at a very dangerous precipice because and this is what socialists always do. Mm-hmm. They worm their way into the institution. They cause the institution to falter and fail through implementation of policy,
mismanagement,
or through the purposeful mismanagement. What do they call it? Malicious
neglect.
No, not neglect, but malicious implementation. So here's a good example of that in the societal cultural thing. When you know how I'm sure you saw the headlines about how they removed Colin Powell because he's a black man from the website.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
That was leftist.
The guy who lied about anthrax. Okay, yeah.
But here's the thing: he was on the on a website page as somebody who had won. Like it was like black men or black African Americans in who have done things for the country.
Important people, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
In history, yeah.
He was removed from the website from a web page, but that was the thing that actually happened was a notification went out from the executive branch like, hey, we're not going to be doing like this DEI bullshit. And it was them taking that and being very malicious with their implementation of it. They said, okay, we're going to take him off because we're interpreting this memo that way. Then we're going to tell the news that you did this and you demanded it.
Right. So they've done that several times with the Trump administration.
Well, that's right. It's because the bureaucratic class are socialists. Obviously, they want to vote they need their job.
Right. Right.
So for them, they're not looking beyond their nose. That malicious implementation is one of the ways that obviously the socialists come in. So they do that, and then they destroy, just take out various pillars of whatever the institution is, so that then they have a grievance, and then they push that grievance, and like the people in charge of all the things of the welfare deny people so that they get mad and they do these things.
You're talking about cultural Marxism. You're talking about jamming the system,
And then they present themselves as the only option to fix it.
Yes.
And the Democrat Socialists, they're doing this, and they say on their website, their platform, rewrite the Constitution. One of the main reasons they want to rewrite the Constitution is because they want to get rid of the Senate entirely.
Yeah.
And that was what progressives did that. Back in the day, well, they took the first step to that because the Senate was never meant to be elected by us. Thank God.
Right.
Shouldn't. It was to protect the integrity and the sovereignty of the state. The state legislature was supposed to pick the senator, of course, which is why the governor can then appoint one. Still, that's a vestige from back then. And with that being the case. Now they wanted to make it a popular vote because populism, socialism. Now they actually say they want to rewrite the Constitution and get rid of the Senate. And these are very crazy. I don't know. These are crazy things. I'm going off on a tangent. Important stuff.
No, dude. We can go for 20 hours on this subject alone, but. You're right. Absolutely. Cultural Marxism is all about disturbing and disrupting society and culture so that no one can actually enjoy it. And that's what we've been witnessing for the past 15, 20 years. This is what I've seen as a deliberate and a direct this has been a mission, right? So when
and they admit it,
right? When the Little Mermaid movie comes out and there's a black girl in it, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, who are the executives at Disney? Who are the people who design the costumes? Who are the people who are making the movies and on set? They are also cultural Marxists, and what they are doing is they are poking the bear because they know that most people who attend cinema to go watch a film just want to be entertained, just want to watch a movie. But when you always inject some form of awkward conversation about race or politics into the situation, no one can ever actually relax and enjoy themselves, which is why...
And it seeps in.
Right. Which is why, like, I saw this woman who was talking about a conservative talking. I wish I could remember who she was. I love her, by the way. This is just my one criticism of her. She was critical of Caitlin Clark, and she said, well, screw you, Caitlin Clark. We're not going to defend you anymore because we're trying to stick up for you, for all the black women in the WNBA, the black lesbians in the WNBA who are attacking you. Right. And Caitlin Clark essentially said, hey, listen, just...
I don't need their help.
Yeah, don't worry about it. And I'm like, actually... Isn't that what we've been begging for the last 15 years, for people playing sports to just play sports? We actually been begging for Caitlin Clark to just go and say, you know what? Let's not talk about this. And I understand she has to work in that environment, whatever. She's a whatever.
Okay, wait.
But I actually thought she was wrong because I was like, listen, we can continue to defend her. She doesn't have to accept our defense. Yeah. But to get mad at her for her just trying to exist in this space and actually just be a role model for little girls, like maybe she wants to be a role model for little black girls too. And maybe her giving into this conversation that's already a politically heated one.
Choosing a side
Not everybody needs to be a political fighter. Right? Some people just need to play ball. If Michael Jordan, every time he went on the damn, oh my God, dude. Oh my,
isn't him saying, look, Republicans buy sneakers too? Isn't that inherently a political statement?
Well, obviously it is, but it is a radically centrist political statement. It is saying this is America, red, white, and blue. It's not saying this is America. I'm a black man and Like, no, it's
like LeBron James. Right. Dude, the fact that LeBron James really, I don't know if he really believes this, but I believe he's dumb enough to actually believe what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
That he actually believes that me, this guy, right here, standing in front of you, is more privileged than him. He says it all. He talks about like the fact that he believes that is very concerning to me.
Yeah, no, well, listen, I'm not going to talk for LeBron James. All I will say is what I've never been more disappointed in a figure, an athlete, an icon of my generation than LeBron James. He basically got into the NBA just as my brother was graduating from high school. He's the same age as my brother. So I was basically watching somebody. I was like, man, why is my brother in the NBA? But I'm watching somebody of my generation and the decisions that they chose to make. Now, like we talked about before, America is the promise of the pursuit of happiness.
We've done very well working towards that end.
I believe so, and
better than anyone else in history.
Dude, history is a rising road. History is a rising road, dude. We do not see on massive scale all throughout the world. It used to be the way of the world to go to another village, capture a bunch of people, and force them to work for you. Yeah. That is not the way it is everywhere in the world. Maybe in the Muslim world too, but not everywhere.
Not in the Western world. And the reason that it doesn't exist is because of the Western world. That's the thing that this is the part of the conversation where we say we need to have this conversation about slavery and about, the transatlantic slave trade. We need to have these conversations. We need to have these. You're right, but we need to have the conversation in its entirety. Well, how about the fact that the only nation or empire ever in the history of written humanity ever, the first one to ever abolish slavery, which existed all over. Right. There's no society prior to this that did not engage in slavery.
Oh yeah.
Whether you're talking about Korea, Indonesia, China, Russia,
Aztecs, whatever,
wherever.
It's the way of the world. Native Americans,
the British were the first nation to actually ban and end slavery. Right. The Americans followed very soon after. Right. The Americans wanted to in the beginning, but they couldn't come together.
That's what the 3/5 compromise was about.
Right.
So I love how people
that's the real conversation.
I don't. Well, this is so here we are. Okay. I understand that the majority of Americans who work hard and they're sitting at home and they're doing their thing, not everybody is interested in the details and the nuance of history. However, the people that are, the cultural Marxists, they study this stuff to such a degree, but they're already looking at it through the lens and the filter of their own personal pain. And so whenever we're brought these topics of conversation, most people
personal agenda.
Right, or personal agenda or political agenda or whatever, they're being paid or whatever. But whenever we get into these conversations, the people who are living in 2026, who just want to raise their families and live their lives, aren't maybe not as brushed up on all this stuff as they possibly could be. Mm-hmm. And then you have the whole other the whole other group of people, the young people who don't know this stuff at all. They just see So this is where I'm going to, if you don't mind, segue into Charlie Kirk. Okay. Right? Yeah. Because Charlie Kirk was huge on this. And I think the psyop of dividing the right on Charlie Kirk was very successful because we never had the opportunity to grieve him, to celebrate him, to honor him. We instantly dove into conspiracy land and started trying to figure out who done it, like it was some kind of murder mystery on Netflix, instead of doing what the left does, doing what the left did with George Floyd and building statues every damn
and saying, damn it.
Right. Yeah. We need to change legislation. We need to change banking. We need to change finance.
We need to be on the streets against the ideology that led to his death.
No, we didn't do that.
We said, no, it's the Jews.
Right. And we had a couple weeks of college campuses having prayer, and that was beautiful and wonderful.
We did that.
We did do that.
We had protesters.
But oh wow. but Charlie Kirk, dude, if you really want to honor him, there's I think there's major things that he was concerned with, right? Ironically enough, the last interview he did with Tucker Carlson, I think, was probably the most powerful Charlie Kirk interview I've ever watched, and where Charlie Kirk talked about, we have a crisis. We need to pay attention to the economics of our young people. Mm-hmm. The reason why we're losing young people to the scourge of communism is not because communism makes more sense. It's because our young people are politically and economically and financially illiterate. And because they're also they're financially illiterate, but they're also simultaneously not making a lot of money. And the economy is not built for them. I understand why Trump, when he first got in, you got to take care of the baby boomers. You got to make sure their houses give them value. You got to do that. I get it. Yeah. I understand.
Now we have another generation.
But now 2028, the election of 2028 will not be a predominantly baby boomer voting presidential election year. And so that's what Charlie Kirk was trying to get everybody going in that direction, which is why I feel like he was killed.
Well, let's dive more into that after these messages from our sponsors. Guys, these are local sponsors. These are South Carolina based, but you don't have to be in South Carolina to take advantage of these people and their services. Listen, Curran Financial Partners, for example. If you go, you look up Curran Financial Partners, they created Adam Curran, he created an ETF that's called YALL, YALL. That's what it is on the stock exchange. This was the God Bless America ETF. You can go and Google it, look it up. It was anti-DEI, anti-woke, to an extent, investing. So you could invest in that ETF and know that you weren't going to be investing in be less white with Coca-Cola or only trannies need to apply at Barnes and Noble, whatever the case was. So we know that we have to vote with our dollars, okay? And actually, Trump, one of his organizations, has now purchased that ETF. But Curran Financial Partners, they do. If you go and invest with them, you will be very happy, very happy. But you can look up Retire Y'all Radio and Retire Y'all on Google, or you can type in Curran Financial Partners. Set up, just go kick their tires. Kick their tires, see if they can do something for you, your family, your future, your kids, your grandchildren. But understand that Adam Curran, he's been on this program. He's been a longtime supporter of mine. He's helped us out. We love him. We love him. But Curran Financial Partners, they're the place to go. I mean, they can take what you have and ensure that you will have it and be able to spend in your retirement, because nobody wants to, you squirrel away money for a long time and then you finally retire and you're ready to use it. But you're like, well, now you're in the habit of squirreling it away and you're afraid to spend it. You're afraid to let them handle it. And the best thing is when you go on and have them as your financial advisor, they'll handle your taxes. They can handle almost anything that you need done. So check them out. And of course, realestateschoolofsc.com, realestateschoolofsc.com in South Carolina, but they can certify you no matter where you are in the country. You can get your real estate license in any state from realestateschoolofsc.com. And they have in-person classes here in South Carolina, but they also have online courses and virtual courses. So you can go at your own pace, or you can be just in the comfort of your own home and take the classes as they are happening out in person. So you can just be there virtually on a Zoom type deal. Anyway, all of our sponsors are amazing. So we'll be back in 2 minutes after these messages from them. If you're planning a date night, don't settle for ordinary. Take it to another level at the melting pot. This is where dinner becomes interactive, where you dip into rich cheese fondues, cook your own steak and seafood right at the table, and finish with warm chocolate fondue and sweet dippers. Their signature 4-course experience takes you from savory to sweet in one unforgettable night. Perfect for couples, celebrations, or just reconnecting with old friends. The melting pot. Set the mood, slow things down, enjoy the moment. Find the Melting Pot at 1410 Colonial Life Boulevard West in Columbia and make your next night out one worth remembering. The Cigar Militia is the place to be. Owned by South Carolina State Representative Jay Kilmartin, this isn't just a business, it's a passion. And you can feel that the second you walk through the door. Top-tier cigars, a welcoming atmosphere, even private lockers so your collection stays exactly how you like it. They even host regular gatherings that bring people together beyond just cigars. If you're looking for a place that values quality, conversation, and community, this is it. Look no further. The Cigar Militia in Columbia, SC. Light up something better.
Looking for a realtor who gets it done and actually answers her phone? Meet Christy Gore with Realty One Group Coastal. Christy is a Tri-County top producer. She works hard, keeps you informed, and knows the Charleston Tri-County markets inside and out. From Dorchester to Berkeley and everywhere in between, she's helping you buy and sell residential homes with confidence. When other agents let calls go to voicemail, Christy's picking up and already finding your next home. So don't wait. Call 843-998-8250 or go online to christiescoastalhomes.com, where local experience meets real results.
Adam Curran here with Curran Financial Partners. We are proud to sponsor Corey Allen and Palmetto Talk Live. I'm a God-fearing, flag-waving, conservative financial advisor, and my firm does it all, y'all. We can help you with your investments, we could do your taxes for you, and we can put together your estate planning documents for you. Reach out to my office by visiting our website. Go to retirey'all.com. Again, retirey'all.com, and get my book in the mail. We literally wrote the first and only book ever penned specifically about retiring in the great state of South Carolina. Retire Y'all, your guide to retiring in the state of South Carolina. Go to retirey'all.com to get a free copy of my book and come kick my company's tires. It might have a profound impact on you and your family's finances.
You can't handle the truth. Yeah. All right, guys, we're back, of course, with whoa, that's not
Black Rant.
With Black Rant for Liberty. No. Sorry, yeah. We are back with Solomon David, Black Rant for Liberty. Look up Black Rant for Liberty. We will tag that right after the show. We will tag that in our socials. Of course, we're on X. If you just search Palmetto Talk Live or search at Overton_the, so like the Overton Report, you know. Search us there. We're on YouTube, Palmetto Talk Live, at Palmetto Talk Live. We're live there right now as well. And we are here on Facebook Live doing it. And of course, Black Rant for Liberty. You're on YouTube, right?
Yes, sir.
Black Rant for Liberty?
It's actually Black Rant. Just
Black Rant?
Yeah, Black Rant.
Just Black Rant.
I got that one, yeah.
That's a bait and switch.
Right. All of my other handles are real Black Rant, at real Black Rant. But this is the only one that I can't change. You can't change Facebook. So
Facebook. Yeah, Facebook is wild. They're mean, man.
Yeah, dude.
You can change it if they delete you 7 times, like they did with me.
They're mean, but they're also very generous.
Well, they used to be. You know, they've screwed me so many times. They're like, oh, we're not going to, you know, they owed me like $4,000.
Oh, wow.
And then they were like, well, your account isn't the correct type of account. I'm like, well, you've been giving me money in it for the past 2 years. So what are you talking about? And then they're like, well, it's not. I was like, okay, so what should I do? They said, switch to PayPal. They said, switch to PayPal. I was like, okay, here's my PayPal. Boom, boom, boom. Everything good? Yep, everything's good. Then boom, $8,000 gone. Disappeared. They're like, nope, sorry, you don't meet our qualifications anymore. Like, what do you mean? Can I talk to somebody that's like a real person? And the AI was like, I assure you, sir, we are a real person. It's so you know, but that's the thing.
Dude, I heard about a guy who made $192,000, and Facebook, when he was like a few days before the payout, Facebook was like, yeah, we think all of your content is fake. All of your views are fake.
Yeah. strike.
No, you know how mad I would be if $200,000 was sitting there and then Facebook was like, yeah, no.
And the thing is, like, there's nothing that you can do because there's no legal recourse. No. It's so airtight. It's frustrating. But that's why I don't rely on them.
No.
I do the sponsorships. I do this because, like, I want to continue the show. I mean, this place isn't cheap.
Right.
I mean, it's not stupid expensive.
No, but there's expenses, and this is the fight that we are engaged in, and it's sometimes it's disappointing because the DSA, I don't know if you had heard, but they had raised millions and millions and millions of dollars, and they're like, no, it did not come from Roy Neville Singham. It did not come from the radical left. It did not come from these NGOs. It came from people's dues.
Right. They're Democrat dues.
Right. And that's why they have this huge war chest to go after us, after our liberties, after our freedoms.
That's right. And after moderate Democrats to the last vestiges of those to take over the party of the Democrats, which, I mean, they've done. The next generation, the people our age and younger, they are going. It's going to get bad.
Right.
I think. I think it's going to get really, really rough. But yeah, I mean, if I was singing the swan song of socialism, then I would have.
You'd
plenty of funding.
Oh, you'd be great.
Plenty.
Yeah. You would have already met 20 celebrities by now.
Of course, and you know what's interesting too is in Republican politics in South Carolina, the people who have actually like offered me, and they do this in a weird way, and I know that you've experienced this as well.
Yeah.
But they will come to you and ask you in a weird way, hey man, if you were to have this thought, put this out, then maybe we could use you as a consultant or something to that effect.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between it. Like if I am speaking on an issue, on a subject, on a topic, and I have this idea, and somebody comes to me and says, I love what you're doing. I want you to keep doing exactly what you're doing with no input, and I want to help.
Right.
That is completely different than, hey, have this opinion and you get money.
Right.
But that does happen in South Carolina Republican politics, and it's not the people.
Right.
It's not the establishment doing that.
Right.
Coming to me.
Right.
You've had them come to you too. We're not going to go into it.
No, we're not.
I'm not going to put you in that position.
No. But it's very true. And honestly, I will give Republicans the benefit of the doubt because for decades, essentially, if you had a conservative cause and you put any money to it, as we know during the Obama administration and definitely during the Biden administration, they would try to sick the IRS on you.
And the feds.
Right, and the feds. Yeah, so I understand to a certain degree why a lot of wealthy conservative folks don't necessarily like to put their money out there unless they like control you to a certain extent, unless they like trust you or you're like their nephew or like, so I'm not trying to complain, but it is crazy when I get online and I see somebody with like 10,000 followers or 5,000 followers or 1,000 followers and they have hundreds of thousands of views. They're collaborating with like, I saw
wild equipment and Kamala Harris isn't,
right. They have a video collaboration with Kamala Harris and they have like 500 followers. It's like, what is going on?
But I'll tell you what, that's that DEI, that's that didn't earn it shit. Like it's interesting for me because, I started out nothing like following leftists destroying Charleston with a $200 camera that I got on Amazon after watching the news just be complete pieces of trash, lying. And I went from that to now, I am very proud, that I've been able to have David Stumbo, who's going to be the next Attorney General, and David Pasco, like all the people who are running, Alan Wilson, Pamela Evitt, I'm very proud of being able to get those people in, and it's just because of my content. It's not because my brother, sister's cousin is being paid by the state.
There is something to be said for pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps. It does give you a certain level of positive pride, not that negative pride. Right. So there is something good about that, and it means that
the confidence to where when people are like, "You're a piece of trash," you're like,
right,
but I'm not though.
Right, you're very tough, right? Yeah. The only reason why I'm complaining about it, and I suspect you're complaining about it, is because we are fighting a battle against people who literally, they say it all the time, want to send us to re-education camps, want to turn this country upside down, want to get rid of the Senate, want to change this republic into a communist country. And I just had this conversation yesterday. One of my wealthy friends, he is a conservative, and he's done work in politics. He's been involved. He's not like totally on the sidelines, but he literally said to me, he revealed to me yesterday, he's like, man, I see a lot of these public figures and I just don't get it. What is the benefit of going out and making yourself known, making yourself public? You're really just asking for trouble. And he's a wealthy guy. He comes from money. And he knows a lot of other wealthy people in conservative politics, Republican politics, and
there's something in it. There's something to be said for what he's saying, because it's you got to be a little bit off your rocker,
right? It's
well, also you got to be comfortable in chaos. Yeah. I think that's some people are very comfortable in a very placid situation. Some people are more comfortable in chaos, and I think that has something to do with it. And also, just I believe that what we do can change the world. And if you change anything in the United States of America, you are by definition changing things in the world. Because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not talking about city council in the fucking Bangladesh backwoods. You know what I'm talking about? We're talking like real stuff. So,
right.
I want to open it up to you about Charlie Kirk for a second, but then I want to talk about, speaking of dynastic issues and royalty and things like that. We're going to talk about the Senate race in the South Carolina special primary for Lindsey Graham's seat.
Right.
But go ahead. Do you want to do the want to talk about Charlie?
We'll just cover it really quick, because I understand it is a very deep and controversial topic. But I like I said, I feel like we did not honor Charlie as best as we could, and segueing from the conversation about who's involved in Republican politics and conservative politics, who's going to put their balls on the chopping block. That's the reason why listen, I knew who Charlie Kirk was. I agreed with him for, on quite a few things, but
you didn't really watch
I did not even really watch him.
I didn't watch his Daily Show.
Right.
But yeah,
but
I listened to his debates.
I knew who he was, and I knew that he had created Blexit, and this is, I think, one thing that Charlie Kirk, that's why I feel like it was so pivotal for the leftists, for the mainstream media to call him a racist.
Yeah.
Because everybody who is 100% not a racist, they go so crazy and call them a racist. People who do the most for black voices are the ones who are attacked the most for being a racist, because
they have to paint them that way.
They have to, so that black people don't even want to listen to them. Because if they had heard what Charlie Kirk was actually about, dude,
that's right.
If he anyway, so
did you know that Blexit
yes, I know what you're gonna say, but go ahead.
When I was on the South Lawn of the White House with them.
Yeah.
When they were first created, and it was Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum, and before she went off the reservation. And I believe truly that she has gone off the reservation.
Yeah.
I think that trauma and
I
think that can really cause some issues in people's heads, and if they don't get it fixed, and they go off the rails for a while. I hope she comes back to reality. Anyway, but yeah, that was the first time they invited me, and I was on the South Lawn of the White House listening to Donald Trump speak in October after creating the Overton Report in August.
Wow,
it was crazy. I mean, it was just so surreal. Me and my wife there. I had just gotten involved in politics. I think that played a pivotal role in me deciding to stay involved. But anyway.
No. Charlie gave a lot of opportunities to people, even people that didn't were beefing with him while he was alive. I didn't hear anybody who was beefing with him when he was alive continue to do so after he died. They were like, man, I really wish I had
even Fuentes.
Right. And that is the mark of a true leader. Yeah. Whether or not he was going to run for president or whatever, I don't care about all that conversation. What I care about is the fact that, and what I want to point out, and I've made a couple of videos about this. If you go to Black Rant For Liberty, or if you go to Real Black Rant or whatever, if you follow me on any social media platform, you'll see my videos where I'm basically saying the manosphere, the different kinds of circles that exist on the right, where somewhat kept at bay because Charlie Kirk was the most reasonable voice. And the whole conversation that we are having here today, he was a radical centrist. Yeah. Like I'm not gonna like. Well, he would listen. You have to call yourself.
You're talking about like tactically. I don't believe he had centrist views. When we talk about that's another. Okay, what do you mean centrist? Okay, because you aren't.
You know what I mean? You're a centrist. You know what I mean? This is what I mean. Yeah, I didn't even. You said that you wanted me to elaborate on that earlier, and I didn't.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean by that? I mean that I want America to continue to go forward as America in the ideals of which the founders founded it upon.
That's not a centrist view.
That is a well. In this current environment, you could say it's not a centrist view. I think it's a centrist view because look at Donald Trump's administration. Mm-hmm. Who is his Treasury Secretary?
Bessent, right?
What is his sexual orientation?
Well, yeah.
Look at who was the first.
Well, Donald Trump was the first president to come into office supporting gay marriage. Barack Obama did not support gay marriage when he was first elected.
Not openly, no.
He was asked very specifically, publicly. Right. Donald Trump was the first president ever elected to his first term of office while supporting gay marriage.
Right.
The only one ever. Well, first one ever.
So this is my point. There is a video online of Charlie Kirk. There's a man who asked Charlie Kirk a question about being gay, right? Charlie Kirk gets so upset at this guy because this is what I mean by being a radical centrist. You want to create an environment where in this country, people can make their own mistakes. They can screw up if they want to. They can have the freedom to do what they want to do. I'm not against I'm not against someone if they want to be trans. Do that when you're 25 years old, but do not turn around and go to a 9-year-old kid and go, "Well, you know what you are." That's wrong.
Yeah.
That's wrong because there's a reason why we have an age of consent. Okay. I am a radical centrist in the fact that I want people to come. I want to have a discussion with people who have a difference of opinion from me. Listen, this is what I mean by being a black man in this country. I'm not going to sit here and act like racism doesn't exist. What I will say is racism doesn't exist in my daily life because it's not a factor for me. It's as though you're like a short guy or a bald guy.
Everyone hates me because I'm short.
Right. If you constantly go, I'm bald.
Chip on your shoulder.
Yes. If you're a bald guy and you go, did Michael Jordan walk around and go, I'm a bald guy? No, he was like, I play basketball. Mm-hmm. And so when I go into my life, into the world, I don't go, I'm a black man. I go, no, I'm a human being. I'm a strong man. I'm a father. That's how I define myself. And whenever you allow other people to define you by your weaknesses, to define you by the worst parts of yourself,
or even beyond that, convince you to define yourself by those things.
Right.
Yes.
That they are trying to control you, and there's a difference between somebody trying to convince you to identify with the strongest parts of yourself. Okay, maybe there's some manipulation there, whatever. That's the nuance, but that's positive.
It's more positive.
If someone is trying to convince you that your whole identity is the worst part of your history, which they try to do with black people, you are...
And white people.
Yes.
In a different way.
Yes, in a different way. I'm only, speaking,
But yeah, I agree.
I'm not...
My bad. Listen. I keep interrupting you, but it's just there's so much here, man.
No. You're 100% right, but... Why has there been nothing but slave movies for the last 15 years?
It's crazy to me. And not one of them is a story of Frederick Douglass or Robert Smalls.
Ain't no damn Benjamin Banneker movies. There's no, what are we talking about, man? There's only 12 years a slave. You're a slave. So when you see these ghetto folks running around getting mad, it's because I saw this study that in the 90s, they did a study on black kids versus white kids. White kids were watching basically 4 hours of television a day. Black kids were watching 12 hours of television a day. Why is the left obsessed with controlling the media, controlling Hollywood?
Oh, that's why.
Duh. So if they can convince you of who you already are, they can control your destiny. Because
yes, and also we have to understand also that the trauma that you're exposed to in media, especially as a young person,
yes,
when you are watching trauma-based media, it does transfer to your subconscious.
Yeah.
So it becomes your
very different now, but the flicker rate of television put the brain in a state that couldn't tell the difference between a dream and reality. And so if you're watching television for 12 hours a day, how do you know that that's not happening to you? Exactly. If you're a young kid, you're impressionable, your brain's barely developing. I want to say this, and this is getting back to the Charlie Kirk point. I've heard so many people go, why was she in a rush to forgive Charlie's killer versus she won't forgive Candace Owens for asking questions. Okay, listen, Charlie Kirk was a political figure. If Martin Luther King's wife came out and said, I'm so pissed, we need to get revenge, we need to go on up. First of all, back in those times, that would have set black people back another 20 years.
Sure.
But we're talking about conservatives who are already deemed to be violent. Erica Kirk made a political statement when she forgave Charlie's killer.
And a religious one.
I do not believe she, maybe at that point in time, she may not have personally, actually, truly felt that. But I think she was trying.
And also, we forgive people for ourselves.
For ourselves, not for them.
That's correct. And that's different than this person is continuing to call my character, my life, my husband, everything about me into question on a daily basis. If I forgive her today, then by 3:00 when she does her live video, I've got another thing to. That's a totally different situation.
Right. Totally.
It's absolute nonsense. Asking questions at first is like, okay, fine, but it's like, dude, at a certain point, hey, what do they say? Well, follow the money. Follow the money.
Yes.
And the money is, when I say Charlie Kirk, I get more money.
Right.
With Candace Owens.
Right. I will end it on this, right? Because we could talk about Candace Owens, we could talk about her husband being worth $300 million and being a British lord, and her accusing Erica Kirk of seeking money
and
or whatever.
Getting married after knowing each other for 2 weeks.
Right. Being introduced to each other by a Scientologist. We could talk about all that stuff all day long, but my point in saying how pivotal Charlie Kirk was Charlie Kirk believed that the black voice in America was underutilized. And that is why it is constantly being fought for by the Democrats, and it's been given up by the Republicans, which is very sad.
Do you think that that's true? Yes. That it's been completely... I know that at one point it was given up by the Republicans. Do you think that is still the case? I feel like we have been doing a lot of work on the outskirts of the black community. It's hard. I think you're right in the sense that it is difficult for us to get to the central core of the black community.
I personally believe that if it weren't for Donald Trump, Kanye West, ironically,
Charlie Kirk,
people like 50 Cent, people who are secret conservatives who are
Nicki Minaj,
right, who are black people. If it weren't for those people, Lil Wayne, ironically, if it weren't for those figures who are actually they made some money and they're like, oh my God, let's lessen taxes.
Wait a second.
Right.
Wait a second.
If it weren't for those people, you would have no inroads. You would have people only people like myself.
Charlemagne the God.
Oh, don't get me started on Charlemagne. But if you didn't have those people who are on the periphery of politics, you would have nothing. And the problem is, like we were just talking about, there is...
This hip-hop culture is so destructive.
Well, yes. I mean... I don't...
No. Come on.
No.
Is it? Do you not...
Well, let's put it like this. When hip hop culture was...
When I say that, let me define what I mean.
Well, that's not hip hop culture.
You don't think that what we see now is hip hop culture?
No.
You don't believe that that's what it has become?
No, it's... Well, there's...
The hip hop culture... What I mean when I... So let me say this. So we could clear it up. So when I say... hip hop culture being destructive, top 10, top 40, top 100 Billboard, hip hop billboards. 100% of the time of the past 25 years, 100% of those billboards, I will say this, and I don't have the actual stats in front of me, over 50% of those, and I'm including R&B and hip hop, and that's why it's a low number. If we're talking just rap, it's going to be 80% of the songs.
Right.
Trap, right? Trap houses, gun violence, living on the street, stealing money, hard R.
Right.
Not hard R.
It's not. No, it's
soft A.
It's A.
Soft A. Right. Right. But it's violence, drugs, gang lifestyle. That is the most prevalent in rap music that is popular played.
Yes. No.
So I have to define
I know
hip hop culture as that, right? I know that there's real good conscious hip hop. I listen to rap all the time. I really do. But I mean I get that, but I feel that's different than a 6-year-old nephew.
I am
listening.
I am not trying to give a pass or make an excuse for hip hop. I'm not saying that at all. The nuance that I want to bring into the picture, and it's funny. Like, dude, when you were raised, when you have a black father who's actually a professional, like this stuff was taught to me years ago. Like, so when I see it on the internet, I don't know if you've seen this proliferation of this conspiracy theory that is now being kind of proven true through declassified documentation and the stoppage of USAID. They're saying, oh, USAID got stopped, so now all of a sudden,
the albums
for the first time in 20 years, there's no rap albums in the top. There's no rap songs in the top 10, top 100. There was
artificially.
There was a conspiracy theory that I have heard since I was since the 90s that the people who ran and owned prisons also funded gangster rap, and now that theory has come out and it's basically declassified.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about hip hop culture and rap culture or black culture, are we talking about black culture, or are we talking about a manufactured welfare culture that has been given to people? And listen, I'm not gonna make an excuse, because if somebody wanted to say Appalachian, trailer trash culture, I'm like, who would sit there and go, oh yes, that was a CIA creation?
Well, it's interesting you say that, because somebody did say rap was created by the CIA to harm the black population, especially.
That's what most people believe now.
But here's the thing. Okay.
I just think Charlie Kirk knew that. That's all.
Let's say, no, I'm with you. I get it. But okay, let's say that did play a role and that was a part of it. Look around.
Oh yeah, no.
Go to any inner city. Go to Baltimore. Would you walk around in Baltimore?
Hell no.
Like, the thing is, like, okay, this watch. I can walk around downtown Charleston, most parts of it. I can walk around any town. If I were in an inner city, I feel like I would get robbed, and you would as well,
right?
Unless you had bodyguards around you, right. like that. So we could like. I feel
but that's
like
what
that
we
goes back to. Right. That goes back to okay, but it wasn't. They pushed it, but isn't it still?
No. I'm not
responsibility to be like, hey, fuck that.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree with you. So like I said, I had a father who told me this in the 90s.
Yeah.
This information
father. That's the point.
Right.
That's the key.
That's a huge part.
That's the key.
People are just now hearing about this now.
Yeah.
So if I can be aware that this is happening, I can avoid it. But when people
meet them where they are.
Exactly. So we just talked about this, how LBJ said he'd have those niggers voting Democrat for the next 200 years because he created the Great Society. And now, and you said it yourself just a while ago, that has been exported to everyone else.
Yes.
The mechanism in which it was exported was through the culture. So the reason why they funded rap, or they funded rock and roll, or the CIA funded a bunch of abstract art in the 60s during the Cold War to confuse the Soviets. Like, they literally, that is declassified. The CIA funded nonsensical art.
Oh yeah, modern art.
Yep. To confuse
Andy Warhol.
Right.
Yep, I know.
They did that for a reason, and the CIA is efficient. They're effective. So, I'm sorry. I'm
No, you're good. Anyway, so we got a lot, we got plenty to talk about, yes. Man, and we could do this all day, but we've been on for over an hour and a half. No, dude, no, sorry. Like, man, I could do this. I'm telling you, I love these conversations. We didn't get to the Senate race. We didn't get to flock cameras. You're going to have to come down in a week or two.
Yeah, darn it. Yeah.
And I'm going to have to come up there. You got to, and the next time I'm setting up, I've got a home office where I used to do my shows. And, I'm resetting that up for a more like late night smoke cigars type deal. So we should do something there.
Yeah.
Also, we're for those out there who don't know, we're setting up a thing at the Cigar Militia in Columbia, which is one of our sponsors. You saw them in our ads. We're going to be doing roundtable discussions. State Representative Jay Kilmartin owns the Cigar Militia. So we're going to set up our cameras and our mics, and we're going to do roundtable discussions with elected officials, activists, influencers, the works. You got to come to one of those discussions, because what I plan to do with that is just record for like 3 hours, and would just be live for 3 hours, just blah blah blah, doing whatever. I think it'll be real fun, and it's all South Carolina based. I appreciate you coming in today, man.
Thank you for having me, man.
Guys, Black Rant for Liberty. We'll tag them in the comments. We'll tag them in the descriptions. All that. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Corey Allen. This is Palmetto Talk Live. Tomorrow we'll have CJ Westfall in. Tonight, Dorchester County Council, Dorchester County Republican Party, of which he is the chair. They are having a discussion and potentially a vote on whether or not to create a resolution against flock cameras. I need to get to that. It's 7. So that's going to be very interesting. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We're going to talk to him about that and some other things like Darlene Graham and the royal succession that's trying to happen there, which I wish we could talk about. We just don't have the time. Yeah. No, there's no sorry, dude. I mean, we obviously great conversation. Thanks to the leftist cucks out there. I can't wait for you to come on and call him a bunch of names and call me a racist. That's always fun. We'll see you guys tomorrow. My name is Corey Allen. Of course, this is Palmetto Talk Live.